At my wedding reception, my father raised his glass and said, "This marriage is a disgrace to our family." My mother whispered, "You can still walk away." My husband's family stared in shock. I took a deep breath and smiled. "Actually, I have a toast too." When I pulled out the letter my grandmother had left me, my father's face went pale. I never imagined my wedding day would unfold the way it did. As I stood in the grand ballroom of the Manila Hotel, surrounded by friends and family, I felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. The chandeliers sparkled overhead, casting a warm glow on the elegantly decorated tables adorned with white roses and gold accents. The aroma of traditional Filipino dishes like lechon and adobo wafted through the air, adding to the festive atmosphere. My father, a stern man with salt and pepper hair and a perpetually furrowed brow, rose from his seat, glass in hand. The room quieted in anticipation of his speech. He cleared his throat, his deep voice resonating through the hall. "This marriage," he began, pausing to glance around the room, "is a disgrace to our family." A collective gasp echoed among the guests. I felt my husband's hand tighten around mine, his eyes wide with shock. My mother, seated beside me, leaned in, her voice a whisper tinged with urgency. "You can still walk away," she murmured, her eyes pleading. I took a deep breath, steadying myself. The weight of their disapproval pressed heavily on my chest, but I knew this was my moment to stand firm. I released my husband's hand and rose to my feet, feeling the eyes of everyone in the room upon me. "Actually," I said, my voice clear and unwavering, "I have a toast too." Reaching into the pocket of my intricately embroidered wedding gown, I pulled out a letter, its edges worn from years of handling. It was from my grandmother, a woman of wisdom and warmth, who had passed away a year prior. She had given it to me before she died, instructing me to read it on my wedding day. As I unfolded the letter, my father's face turned pale, his eyes narrowing with apprehension. The room was silent, save for the soft rustling of the paper. "My dearest," I began, reading aloud, "love is a journey filled with challenges and triumphs. It is not for others to judge, but for you to experience and cherish. Follow your heart, and let it lead you to the happiness you deserve." Tears welled in my eyes as I finished reading. I looked up to see a mixture of emotions on the faces of our guests: shock, empathy, and understanding. My father remained silent, his expression unreadable. Turning to my husband, I saw the unwavering support in his eyes. He stood beside me, taking my hand once more. Together, we faced our families and friends, united in our love and commitment. "To love," I toasted, raising my glass, "in all its forms and complexities. May we all find the strength to follow our hearts." The room was still for a moment before my husband's family began to clap, their support evident. Slowly, others joined in, the applause growing louder, filling the space with a sense of unity and hope. As the evening progressed, conversations resumed, and the initial tension began to dissipate. I noticed my father retreating to a corner of the room, his posture rigid. Despite his disapproval, I felt a newfound sense of liberation. I had chosen my path, and I would walk it with confidence and love. The events of that night became a story often recounted among our friends and family, a testament to the power of love and the courage it takes to stand up for it. And though my relationship with my parents remained strained, I found solace in the family my husband and I built together, grounded in mutual respect and unwavering support. So after my father's little bombshell at the wedding reception, and my toast with the letter from my grandmother, things seemed calm on the surface. People clapped. My husband, Miguel, held my hand like he meant it. But the tension never really went away. It just got quieter. We flew to Palawan for our honeymoon the next day. Gorgeous place, white sand, clear water, peaceful. But something was off. Miguel was quiet. Not just tired quiet, but thinking quiet. The kind of quiet where you know they're holding something in. I let it slide the first 2 days. Told myself he was just overwhelmed. Our wedding had been an emotional circus, after all. But on the third night, I couldn't ignore it anymore. We were sitting on the balcony of our resort room. He had a drink in hand, staring out at the ocean. I asked him directly, "What's wrong?" You barely looked me in the eye since we got here. He took a long sip before answering. You should have told me about the letter earlier. That caught me off guard. I didn't think I had to. It was personal. My grandmother gave it to me. It wasn't about you. He looked at me then. And I saw something I hadn't seen before in his eyes, doubt. It felt like you planned that moment. Like you were waiting for the right time to throw it in everyone's face. Including mine. I felt my stomach drop. Are you serious right now? Your family was stunned. My dad basically tried to ruin our wedding in front of everyone. And you made it about you. About proving a point. Like you were settling some score. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So you think I stood up there to humiliate you? He didn't answer. Which said more than any words could. That was the first real crack. We didn't talk much the rest of the trip. When we got back to Manila, it got worse. I started noticing things. Miguel was spending more time at work. He'd come home late, say he was tired, barely touch his dinner. I started feeling like I was living with a stranger. I asked him about it once, and he snapped at me, not everything is about you. Can I just have some space? The old me would have backed off. But not this time. One night, he left his phone on the bed while he showered. Notifications popped up. I never used to look, but something pushed me to that night. It was a message from someone named Lara. Just that name made my skin crawl. It wasn't a family member. It wasn't anyone I knew. The message read, "Last night was amazing. I miss you already. Wish you could hold me right now." I froze. Miguel came out of the shower humming, towel around his waist, and stopped dead when he saw me holding his phone. I looked at him. No words, just eyes full of questions. Accusation. Hurt. He knew immediately. He didn't deny it. He sat down on the edge of the bed, dripping water onto the sheets, and just said, "It wasn't supposed to be serious." I laughed. Like, actually laughed. Because how else do you respond to that? So while I was fighting off my own parents and trying to defend us, I said, "You were out having some fling on the side?" "It started before the wedding," he said quietly. "But I thought I could end it. I thought I would. I just didn't. And then everything with your family blew up, and I felt trapped." "Trapped?" I repeated. "You felt trapped, so you crawled into bed with someone else?" He rubbed his face, not looking at me. "I'm sorry." Sorry. One word. Like that was supposed to patch up the mess. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just got up, walked to the living room, and sat in silence. My hands were shaking. A few hours later, I packed a small bag and left. I didn't know where I was going yet. I just knew I couldn't stay there. I went to my cousin Mara's place in Makati. She didn't ask questions. Just opened the door and hugged me. It's been a week now. Miguel's called a few times. Texted. Said he wants to explain, to make things right. But there's one part one haven't told him yet. The part that even I didn't know until 3 days ago. I was going through some old boxes my mom brought over, things I left at their house after I moved in with Miguel. One box had letters and photos from my childhood. And at the bottom, under a stack of birthday cards, was a manila envelope. It was sealed. No name on it. But inside was another letter from my grandmother. And this one? This one wasn't about love. It was about truth. And what she wrote in it turned everything I thought I knew about my family, and my marriage, completely upside down. So, that second letter from my grandmother? It changed everything. I read it 3 times. The first time in shock, the second in disbelief, and the third in something between rage and heartbreak. Let me explain. My grandmother had always been this quiet but observant type. You know, the kind of person who watched everything but rarely spoke unless she had something important to say. When I was younger, she used to tell me stories, not fairy tales, but real family stuff. She had this habit of writing letters too. That first one was about love. The one I read at my wedding. But this one was different. She wrote, "If you are reading this, then you've already made a choice I had hoped would never come to pass. Your father is not who you think he is. And the man you married? He's more connected to our family than you know." My stomach dropped. I kept reading. "Before you were born, your father had a business partner. A woman. Her name was Beatrice. She ran in the same circles. She was brilliant, dangerous, and obsessed with your father. They had an affair. It destroyed your parents' marriage before it even began. Your mother stayed for appearances. But it wasn't the only secret. Beatrice had a son. Your father denied him. But we all knew." I stopped breathing. "That boy's name is Miguel." I swear my ears were ringing. "They moved away after Beatrice was diagnosed with cancer. We thought they left the country. Your father never spoke of them again. We all pretended they didn't exist. But blood doesn't vanish. It circles back. It finds its way. I recognized Miguel the first time I saw his photo with you. He has your father's eyes." I dropped the letter. Suddenly, everything made sense. My father's outburst at the wedding. My mother whispering that I could still walk away. The strange silence during family dinners after Miguel's name first came up. They all knew. Or at least suspected. My husband is my half-brother. I felt sick. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I just sat there, staring at the wall. My grandmother had left no contact info, no follow-up. Just the truth, sitting in my lap like a curse. I thought about calling Miguel. But what the hell was I going to say? "Hey, remember when you cheated on me?" Also, plot twist, we might be siblings. No. I needed answers. Real ones. I called my mom. Told her I found a second letter. Told her to come to Mara's condo. She hesitated at first, but I said, "You know what this is about. Don't make me drag it out of you." She showed up an hour later, pale and shaking. She sat across from me like she was sitting in a courtroom. "Is it true?" I asked. Is he Dad's son?" She looked down. Then nodded. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" I said, my voice rising. "Why would you let me marry him?" "We didn't know for sure," she whispered. "We suspected. But there was no proof. And your father, he refused to talk about it. You let me stand there and marry him while Dad basically called me a disgrace, and you said nothing?" She looked up, eyes red. "I told you. I said you could walk away. But you didn't say why." She wiped her eyes. "Would you have believed me? You were so sure. So in love. That shut me up." I sat back, heart pounding. "I need to talk to him," I said finally. "I need a DNA test. I need to know for sure." She nodded slowly. "Your father, he'll never agree." "I don't care. I haven't talked to Miguel yet. He's still messaging me. Still thinks this is about the cheating. He has no idea that cheating is the least of our problems now. I'm meeting with an attorney tomorrow. Getting a test done without Miguel knowing won't be easy. But I need answers. And if this turns out to be true? If Miguel really is my half-brother? Then the toast I gave at my wedding wasn't about courage or love. It was a eulogy for the biggest mistake of my life. I decided to tell Miguel everything in person. I waited until I had the DNA test in my hands. It took weeks to convince him to take it. I told him it was for something else, some legal thing. He didn't ask too many questions. He still thought this was about the cheating. I had the results sent to my cousin Mara's place. It was confirmed. We share a father. Miguel is my half-brother. I felt physically ill. It wasn't just the betrayal of what he did with Lara. It was the whole damn lie we'd been living in. Our marriage, our relationship, it wasn't just doomed. It was forbidden. Twisted. And it wasn't our fault. Not completely. But still, we were in it. We stayed in it. I called him to meet me at my grandmother's old house in Batangas. Neutral ground. Quiet. It felt right somehow. When he walked in, he looked nervous. Tired. He tried to hug me. I stepped back. I found something, I said. And I need you to sit down before I show you. He sat. I handed him the envelope. He pulled out the papers, reading the results, then the letter. And I watched his face drain of all color. He looked at me. Mouth open. Hands trembling. This can't be true. It is. No. This isn't real. It can't be. It is. Miguel, my father, your mother, Beatriz. You knew she was close with him, right? He stood up, pacing. I knew they worked together. I knew they had a history. But I didn't think, no one ever said anything. I was shaking. Your mom never told you who your father was? She said he was gone. That he didn't want anything to do with us. But she never said who. I laughed, bitter. Guess we both had parents who lied through their teeth. He sat back down, head in his hands. So what now? You tell me, I said. You cheated on me. You lied. I stood in front of a crowd defending us, defending you, and you were already screwing someone else behind my back. And now I find out we're family? You want to fix that, too? He didn't say anything. He just sat there, broken. I think it finally hit him. I don't remember how long we stayed silent. An hour? Maybe 2? When he finally spoke, it was barely above a whisper. I'm sorry. That word again. Like it meant something. You're sorry for what? I snapped. The affair? Or the part where we accidentally married each other? For all of it. For not being enough. For not asking more questions. For not protecting us. And maybe for the first time I believed he meant it. But it didn't change anything. We stayed in that house until nightfall. No shouting. Just silence. When I got back to Manila, I called my parents. I told them what I knew. What they knew. And I said I never wanted to see them again. My mom cried. My dad said it was complicated. I hung up. A week later, Miguel moved out of our apartment. He didn't fight it. Didn't try to spin it. Just left. Lara? I don't know. I never saw her. Never cared to. Mara, my cousin, tried to help. She said, you were both lied to. You didn't choose this. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. It's been 5 months. The annulment process is underway. Quiet. Paperwork. Legal words that try to erase a relationship that was already built on something rotten. Miguel and I don't speak anymore. We exchanged a few messages at first, mostly about logistics. But it got too painful. We both stopped. Sometimes, I still catch myself looking at photos from the wedding. I should have burned them. But I keep them. Maybe as proof that I wasn't crazy. That had happened. Sometimes I wonder, if we hadn't been connected by blood, would we have made it? If he hadn't cheated, would I still be standing beside him? If my father had just told the truth years ago, would any of this have happened? But what ifs don't change the past? They just make you tired. What I've learned. Secrets don't stay buried. They rot. And when they rise, they take everything down with them. I don't know if I believe in love anymore. Not in the way I used to. But I believe in myself. I believe in starting over. And I believe in truth, no matter how ugly it is. So, if you're out there, holding on to some deep family secret, thinking you're protecting someone, you're not. You're just passing the damage forward. Don't.